Well, hello there and welcome to the channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about something that's really quite important, if not been protect you from damage and health issues. It's those plants that you really don't want to be touching without wearing gloves because of the effects they can give you. There's some nasty little things out there that are commonly purchased still in garden centres with some warnings on, but you know, who reads labels? I don't. So this is for your own benefit. Now we're going to start off with some easy ones that you've probably heard of before, but I'm going to do those to stop people putting in the comments you forgot the obvious ones. So we're going to do those, and then we're going to move on to steadily worse and worse plants to right at the end, where we actually have the Guinness Book of World Records most poisonous plant that you'll commonly see in people's gardens. So that's an important one because you could really do yourself some serious damage with that one. So without any further ado, let's get on with those plants that you should not be touching without wearing jazz hands, gloves. So the first two that I want to talk about, and they're obvious ones, and luckily here in the UK we don't have either of these plants around, and that is your poison oak and your poison ivy, both of which cause dermatitis, both of which cause inflammation, itching, blistering. Oh, there's some horrible little pictures out there if you want to look it up. I'm not putting it on this video because YouTube can be a bit funny about those sort of things, but those two, thank goodness we don't have it here. I do feel sorry for you, my American viewers. Don't forget to subscribe. But two of the most common ones, I don't need to go into it any further because there's plenty of information out there on the internet. Right, now back to the UK. We've got a problem on here too. Now in the UK we have the lovely stingy nettles, which are actually a beneficial plant because they act as a food source for many butterfly larvae and other insects. So it's a good thing to have around, but you don't want to be touching it because if you touch it, it doesn't. It has these specialist spiny hairs, needle-like hairs that actually ping out and stab you, and then inject you with histamine as well as some other chemicals. So you get the mechanical damage to your skin, and then you get the reaction to the chemicals that it's just put in your skin that gives you, again, rashing, itchiness, and blisters. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So again, don't touch without wearing gloves because your hands can be an absolute mess by the end of it. So here we have a Opuntia cactus, and you'll see these everywhere really around the Mediterranean and the southern states of the United States, and these have something rather nasty in them. Now it's not these, can you see these big spines here? These aren't the problems. It's these tiny, almost microscopic, specialist hooked hairs called glockids that surround these sort of like bud areas. Now if you get touched by those, this can happen. Now one of the problems with these glockids is that, you know, if you're out down the pub and a mate of yours bumps you into some cacti thinking it's funny, and you just go, ha, I didn't know, and it probably doesn't, because you may well have thousands of these little buggers in your arm, and it might take you an hour or two before you even realise you got it, and then you're going to find out about it. You can get, not only have you got the itchiness, the inflammation, which can become infected if you're not careful, you get these horrible massive lesions, and these lesions can last up to 9 flipping months, so you'll be ever so careful when handling Opuntia. Never do it without gloves, never do it, and be properly fully clothed, and really and it wouldn't be too bad to wear an actual face mask, because, you know, if you're knocking these around, these can be released to the air, you can be breathing them in. You don't want to be doing that. So gloves, probably a mask as well. Now this next one is rue, and it's a herb that you'll commonly find on the garden centre herb benches. Botanical name Ruta graveolens, if you want to be careful about it. And it's a traditional herb used in Mediterranean dishes. Don't you know? Not that I've ever used it, but it causes phytophotodermatitis. So that means that whatever the active chemical is in the leaves, in the stem, and you get it on your hands, then when it's put under sunlight, then you get your reaction, which I I do know to my cost when I was once a plant area monkey in my younger days. So again, it causes irritation, it causes blisters, and those blisters, they can last weeks or so, and if you get it bad, it can cause some scarring, but on the whole, it will go. It's not terrible. But I tell you what, this next one is horrible. So we're going to talk about the giant hogweed, which used to be considered an ornamental plant when it was introduced into the UK in the 1800s, but it doesn't have that moniker anymore. It's a nasty one. It is phytotoxic. It causes phytophotodermatitis. It is really nasty. You just have to brush against it, and given your sensitivity and bright sunlight, and you'll get an almost immediate reaction of some absolutely enormous blisters. It's truly terrifying, especially if you've got poor young kids who are affected by it. Very, very nasty, and almost guaranteed scarring from when these blisters go down. So it's a horrible one. You need to be aware of it. If you see it, you want to either spray it, remove it, but again, wear gloves. Just don't touch it with your bare skin. It is absolutely awful. And like I say, it was a few years back, it was in the news an awful lot. I haven't really seen much of it around recently, but back in the day, it's flipping everywhere and is an absolute menace. Be very, very careful with it. If you do get touched by it, wash it off with water as soon as you possibly can, and make sure you're covered up so that you don't get light on it. Yeah, it's a bad one, that one. And it's only going to get worse for the next one. If you are a big fan of Harry Potter, and you probably would have heard of this one. This is the Aconitum, which is the wolf's bane or monk's hood, and it contains a serious neurotoxin. And unfortunately, Jobbing Gardner was just handling these only a few years back, and he took a reaction to it, and the poor fella actually died. So I do feel sorry for his family. So this is a seriously dangerous plant, and I'm still talking about just touching it with your bare hands. I'm not talking about ingesting it, because ingesting it can cause almost instant death. It is a serious risk when using these plants. Probably really shouldn't be selling them in the garden centres. That's how dangerous they are. But Aconitum, this neurotoxin, you get it on you got sensitivity to it, this is what's going to happen. Just contact with the skin can cause mild headaches, nausea, or heart palpitations. But if you have a sensitivity to it, then it can cause respiratory failure and heart failure, resulting in death. So it really is that serious. Just touching the plant with your skin can cause death. It's a nasty one. So the last one I want to talk about, and this is the one that is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the most toxic plant that you'll commonly find in your garden, and it is the Ricinus communis, otherwise known as the castor oil plant, and it is extremely allergenic. So you need to be aware if you suffer from asthma, because it can bring on an asthma attack. It can create nasty rashes. It's a horrible little thing. If you are sensitive to it, which thank goodness I'm not, but it's not just that. It's the seeds of the beans. You know, they contain ricin, which is an extremely highly toxic, deadly chemical that's often used by certain Russian guys to kill off people they don't particularly like. So it's a very, very dangerous plant, and you'll want to wear gloves when you handle it, even if you're not sensitive. And one of the biggest issues with it is that ricin is water soluble. And the largest concentration of this ricin is going to be in the seeds. I think it takes about, actually no, we won't go into that because I don't want people using that information. So the problem with the seeds is that the toxin is water soluble, and all the time that the seed coat is intact, it's absolutely fine. You don't have any problem whatsoever. But if you are handling wet, damaged ricinus seeds, then you're just putting yourself at risk. It's just dangerous. You could do yourself some serious damage, and again, in worst case scenario, you can die from it if you've got sensitivity to it on top of everything else. So those are the plants that I'm talking about in this video, which you always want to handle wearing gloves. Never handle them with your bare hands or get your skin, and then that goes for every plant that I've listed in this video. But it's not a complete list. There are plenty of other plants out there that are all just as horrible, and if you want to add those to the comments, firstly, I'd appreciate, and also we'd love to hear from you. Anyway, that's it. All I've got to do is now start the end music. I like that bit of music. And I just have one last message for you. And you know, if you heard it before, you don't have to hear it again, but you know, just don't forget to click that like button, click subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description, you can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.